I had to sort of make money and stuff. I had to make money to show my family that this was going to be great. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm not making money here. And the real estate game was too long to start making money.
Yeah.
It could have taken me 6 months to a year to start making some bread. So I'm like, okay, insurance. But even then, at that point, I couldn't even do it because they required some fee for the license and I had $0.
License in Canada is hard.
Yeah, it was, no, I think it was, I can't remember the license.
Like $1,000, I'm pretty sure.
I think it was the LLQP, am I right with that license?
Canada
LLQP.
license.
Canada is.
It's like a month process and it's $1,000.
Is it?
Yeah. Now it is. So I know you're not getting it faster than a month, from my understanding, and it's $1,000
That's
minimum.
expensive.
Welcome to another episode of Adversity Kings. We've got special guest today, Daniel G, and then obviously we got my co-host, my partner, Dave Wang. So how are you doing,
Man, killing it, man.
Killing
Come on.
it, bro.
You don't even have to ask. We just finished the training.
I already know, dude. Let me pull up my notes for you. So I know you're from Toronto.
Uh-huh.
So that isn't a surprise. I was like, I wonder how much stuff I can surprise you with.
Yeah.
The podcast,
Toronto, Canada.
Toronto, Canada. Let me try to pronounce the name because I was studying that too. Daniel Grania.
Yeah, you're close, bro. Yeah, Guaranya.
Yeah. What nationalities?
Italian.
Italian?
Yeah.
Italian.
Pure Italian.
Yeah, pure Italian.
Holy shit.
I know it sounds Spanish maybe a bit, but it's Italian.
My best friend growing up, pure Italian. I don't know what part of Italy, but that makes sense. So are you first, second generation Italian?
Second generation.
Second generation?
Yep.
I honestly don't even know what the fuck that means. Like, does that mean your parents?
Parents moved into Canada, yeah.
Okay, awesome. You know any French?
No, not really.
Okay.
I didn't want. We learned French growing up in
Yes.
school, but if you don't want to learn some shit, you don't learn it.
Yeah, facts.
They can teach it to you, but I wasn't trying to learn it.
1,000%. 4 years ago, you did Brad Lee. Was that your pop-off podcast?
4 years ago.
4 years ago, you did a Brad Lee
shit.
podcast.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
The real.
You were 24.
2018. Yeah. So
Yes.
that was 5 years ago.
Yes.
2018, 19. That was about 5-6 years ago almost.
Okay.
Yeah. Was that my first big podcast? I probably done more before that.
Yeah.
I just didn't do, honestly, at that time, I think when I did his show, I wasn't even online much.
Yeah.
I wasn't online. I was doing like very small trainings. I wasn't promoting online. I didn't start getting heavy into the branding thing probably until like 3-4 years ago.
Where do you think you'd be if you did?
If I did?
Yeah.
You mean if I
If you
did start
started
branding 6 years ago? I think everything works in perfect timing.
Okay.
You know, I wouldn't say like I'd be bigger. I think it works in perfect timing because if I asked myself that question, I would also say, well, maybe I wasn't prepared at the moment to have a brand.
Yeah.
There's a preparation that you need to have a brand. So I think everything works. I don't really regret anything. Like when people are like, well, I started too late. I'm like, well, to say you were like, the reason why I'm saying that is because I fucking love what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Like I love where I'm at. I love what I'm doing. I love being with you guys. I love my life right now. So to say that I regret something almost indicates that I don't like where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
1,000%.
So I love where I'm at. So everything that led up to it, my branding needed some time, whatever the case was. So yeah.
Now, I read here, I was watching, your parents split when you were 13.
Yep.
But let's go even before 13. What was like the fundamental age for you like when you were really young? What was growing up like between you and your parents? I know they worked 2 jobs each.
Yeah, I was just a very crazy kid. You couldn't handle me. Like my parents were always ridiculed for like being bad parents with me.
Yeah.
Like I was like, you know, hung out at nighttime till like 11, 12 o'clock and I was like 7, 8 years old on a bike. Like
yeah.
I was just, you know, I did whatever at anything. I didn't listen to nobody, didn't care what anybody told me. If you told me something, I was always doing the opposite. Didn't like school, hated it, like playing sports, just like being active. Had, you know, high, whatever they called it, ADD, ADHD.
Yeah.
Had a lot of insecurity balanced out with insecurity. Had a lot of energy balanced out with insecurity because, you know, at one side of me, I'm like, yeah, but you know, I should be an athlete. I shouldn't be going to school. But the other side of me was like, people are telling me I'm stupid because they're like, hey, you have ADD. Your son should be on drugs. And whatever you hear, because you hear these things, like you hear these conversations from a doctor to your mother, a school teacher to your mother.
Yes.
You're hearing that. They're not really telling you. Your mother's not telling you, but they're saying like, you know, you should. Is your son on prescriptions? No.
Yes.
And thank God my mother told my teacher to fuck off.
Yeah.
Right? And don't put him on Ritalin or Adderall or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, and I was also, you probably heard this, I was also labeled English as a second language, so it's called the ESL. ESL. But what's crazy is, dude, like, I'm born in Canada, and they put me in an ESL class. So, like, now you're thinking inside of your head, like, shit, am I this dumb?
Yeah.
Because I'm with my best friends, one of my best friends from the Middle East, Enad from Jordan, then I'm with my other best friend, Alejandro from Colombia, and I'm sitting down here in this class in English, and it's only 4 of us. And, you know, people at school are also calling you, like, the R word. You know? And I'm sitting there saying like, do I have something wrong in my head? Because like I feel like I'm doing great. I'm a great soccer player. You know what I mean? I can get whatever I want. I know how to influence anybody to get whatever I want, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I doing wrong here? Is this school the only thing that's going to make you successful? So thank God for sales at 14 when I seen that opportunity.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Hey, did your family speak Italian at home?
Yeah. They spoke, well, not with us. They spoke Italian towards each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Parents speak English?
Yeah,
Fluent
yeah,
English?
yeah.
Okay. But they put you in ESL class anyway.
Yeah. Because I didn't know how to spell there, and there. Where,
I was
and
in
where.
ESL class.
You were in ESL
just-
too?
Oh, yeah, I was.
Born here in America?
What's that?
No.
I was not born here.
North Korea.
Okay. Oh, in North Korea.
No, man.
I didn't even catch on to that. No, but we're...
He was born in Alabama. So,
Where were you born?
No, I was actually born in Taiwan.
In Taiwan.
Yeah, I was born in Taiwan. My family, my mom's side are Hawaiians and Samoans. My dad was actually born in China. So
And you came here when you
came
were...
over when he was 19 years old to fled the Chinese regime. Yeah. So he actually came over by boat in the middle of the night on a fishing boat.
Yeah.
So
wait, you were how old when you came here?
I was 10.
Got it.
Did not speak English. Don't
Yeah.
look like any of these guys.
Yeah, but you have
They
all rights to
slammed me
be an
right
SEO.
into. They put me right into school.
Yeah, but
Didn't-
you...
I've never even seen white people. You know.
Yeah.
But seriously, never even seen a white person in my life. You know.
Right.
So didn't know hi, didn't know hello, didn't know. The only word I knew was no.
Yeah, but you earned yourself to be an ESL. You're supposed to be an ESL.
It's the way it was.
Yeah, you're supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be an
But
ESL.
you spoke perfect English,
Yeah.
right?
No,
Yes.
well, I mean, I spoke English. I couldn't
I
write.
didn't know the theirs. The theirs you figure out at like 20. I figured that out at like 20, 21. Like there. I was like, what? Like,
Hey, no, you don't. We do.
yeah, I was gonna say
Hey, we
the
do.
twos also.
Yeah.
There's TOOO.
Yeah.
Like TOO I think
Yeah.
is
They
also
said the
two
English
is like toward
language
the
is
direction.
one of the hardest.
It is one of the hardest languages.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that because we
It
speak
is.
it, but
yeah. It is. You're right. It is.
Yeah.
That's sweet. That's sweet. So who were you closest to growing up?
Definitely my grandfather. My grandfather was, my grandfather's still like, kind of like my idol, my coach, my mentor, just somebody that I could talk to that just always kept it real.
Yeah.
The reason why I say that is because it was safe, meaning like, you know when you talk to people and you'll feel safe around them?
Yes.
Like you go tell somebody something in your family, but you know it's going to spread around the telephone in 2.5 seconds. When I told my grandfather shit, I knew it stayed between us. He would look at me and say, tell me something, I'm not going to tell nobody. What's happening here? And look at me, he said, I'm not going to tell nobody. And I would test him too sometimes, you know, growing up. I'm like, okay, he really doesn't tell nobody, so everything's safe around him, right? And that taught me, the way I felt safe around him taught me my biggest lesson inside of business because, you know, word is bond inside of business. Amen. So he showed me that just being even as a family member as to why he was great at business too. My grandfather was, you know, he had a good subcontracting business, wasn't some, you know, wealthy individual, but did really well for his family and for his kids. So he taught me a lot of lessons about business, and that's just one of them right there was just like trust. Like he looked at me, he told me something and he meant it, right?
Yeah.
And it takes you miles inside of business. I think people lose trust and integrity in today's day and age. They say some shit and they're off to do some other shit in today's day and age,
1,000%.
right? So I learned a lot of morals from him. So I was very close to my grandfather.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, he's still here till today. Yeah,
Toronto?
Still call him. Yeah, still in Toronto. Still call him every single week. Let him know what's up before everybody else.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Light up moment. Parents split up. You put 80 cents down, and Dad said, we're not getting it. Now, the way you had portrayed it at 25 years old, is it still, do you still reflect, like I'm realizing both my parents went to jail. My mom got out first, raised me and my little sister. The way I looked at that at 20 is not how I look at it at 25. The way you looked at that moment when you were 24, 25 doing that podcast, do you still look at it now the same at 30?
I think there's different signals. So that was one of my signals to say when you heard me say that, when I said that was there's nothing that's going to be handed to you. So at that point in my life, I had to go work. That's it. And jobs didn't really accept me. Like I actually wasn't just fit out for like jobs. Like I didn't know how to participate in an interview. I didn't know how to write out a resume.
Yeah.
So that's where like that opportunity came in front of me like at the perfect moment actually. Like sales came for me like 2 weeks after when I realized like, oh shit, man, like my friends get so much more than me. And that idea started hitting because I just got into high school. And when I got into high school, I was driving to school with my friend, and every single day his father, you know, would just give him $20 to go for lunch or like $15 to go for lunch. And, you know, if I wasn't getting a drive from him, I was walking 4 or 5 kilometers to school. So it just started hitting to me like it wasn't just that moment. It was just a buildup and being like okay, what am I going to do now?
Yes.
Yeah. So it was just sales at that time. It was just like it is now. It's just the easiest thing to get into, dude.
Yes.
Like they didn't ask me for nothing but a license, and they knew I was lying. They knew it wasn't even.
Yeah.
It wasn't even my license. It was my brother. He had curly hair and he was 80 pounds heavier than me.
Yeah.
And they still accepted it. I'm like, is this a scam?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I didn't
Yes.
even care. I didn't even care at that point.
Not
I
at
said,
all.
even if these people are weird, does the product work? In my head, I was selling gold.
Yes.
And I think that's a thing for some people. Like, some people are like, you have to be passionate about what you sell. I always say you don't have to be passionate. You have to be hungry to change your situation.
1000%.
You know, like, yes, your product has to be ethical. It has to work. But do you have to be overly passionate about it? No, because if that was the case, I would be a soccer player or a DJ or some shit.
Yes.
I was just hungry enough to change my situation. Like, I wasn't passionate about poking holes in people's grass, still made a shit ton of money. Because this whole thing where people are like, you have to be passionate in order to make money. Well, hold up, dude. I know a lot of millionaires that are not passionate about selling fucking cups and they're millionaires.
Yes.
Like, what? They just have the hunger. They solved the problem and they made money. They seen a gap in the marketplace
Yes.
and they made money. That's how millions are created.
Yes.
Now, do I think passion is great? I think it's fucking amazing.
Yep.
Like, is it sometimes a necessity to get you to the next level? Probably. And I think passion mixed in with hunger, then there's no excuse.
Yes.
Right? I think passion is great, but it's not the excuse not to make money. People use that as an excuse. I'm not passionate about this, so I'm not going to make money with this.
Yes.
No, you have to be hungry. Your hunger should outweigh your passion and your emotions. So that's it. I just had hunger to make money.
1000%. Now, the next thing I have in here in my notes is, now you dropped out. Now, I'm trying to figure out high school, college for Canada. Is it a little different than America? Because I feel like we graduated high school at 18. Now, did you drop out of college at 18, 19?
So I went to high school, dropped out right the year after high school. So I'm a December baby. So what was I, maybe 18?
Yeah.
18 maybe?
It was like the same exact deal. I was enrolled into college for like a week, 2 weeks, dropped out.
Right, yeah.
And then went straight, I came back, worked at my buddy's Italian restaurant. I was a dishwasher. And then I was uploading my high school diploma onto Indeed. I got an automated email from an insurance company, thought it was a scam, and went in and was like, they just need a license. You know what I mean? And the rest was history. So now you here, it says, did you immediately go into selling ad space on billboards?
No, actually, it's funny that you say that. We just had a license. So when I dropped out, I knew I was gonna get back into sales, right?
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, well, shit, like I gotta get back in sales. I was already in sales,
Okay.
so I'm already curious about the sales thing. So I just started thinking before I started applying. I'm like, all right, where am I gonna go make money? So you don't think anything else than real estate, insurance, and like car sales, right?
Yeah.
And to me, I said, I don't want to get into car sales because my dad was in suit sales, and he says car sales and suit sales and all that, that's like at the bottom, right? I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I want to prove my parents I'm going to sell like multi-million-dollar things. I'm going to go into real estate, right? But then as I was studying real estate for my first exam, I didn't have no time to waste because I was lying to my family.
Yeah.
So like I had to sort of make money and stuff. I had to make money to show my family that this was going to be great. I'm like, oh shit, I'm not making money here. And then the real estate game was too long to start making money.
Yeah.
It could have taken me 6 months to a year
Yes.
to start making some bread. So I'm like, okay, insurance. But even then, at that point, I couldn't even do it because they required some fee for the license and I had $0.
License in Canada is hard.
Yeah. I think it was, I can't remember the
Like
license.
$1,000, I'm pretty
I think it was the LLQP. Am I right with that license?
Canada
LLQP.
license.
Canada is.
It's like a month process and it's $1,000 minimum.
Is it?
Yeah,
So
it
now
is.
it is. So it's,
Yeah.
I know you're not getting it faster than a month from my understanding, and it's
It's
$1,000 minimum.
expensive.
It's the hardest place to get
licensed.
licensed.
18 years old. I never even thought about insurance, to be honest with you, at 18 years
Really?
old. I wish somebody would have prospected me, yeah.
No, but I already knew the whole sales game though at this point.
Yeah,
Like
but most
I
people-
started Brian Tracy at 14. Like I wasn't a regular kid at
Yeah,
14
this
and a half.
This is not a regular individual.
No, at 14 and a half, I knew Tom Hopkins, Brian Tracy, and
That's
Zig
crazy.
Ziglar.
I
just read Tom Hopkins.
Yeah, 15, like I was teaching kids in my office objections. I wasn't like, I was already a nut for sales. Like my thing was already like looking in the future, what sales jobs I was gonna get at 30, 35. So I knew when I was done university, I actually wanted to get back into sales. So it's just that somebody sold me into college. I always laugh at that. I'm just like, how did somebody actually sell me into this? Like I was so locked in and doing well in sales. I treated, even like me reading books, I treated it like my own school. Like I would train on sections of sales. I'd be like, all right, I'm going to read Prospecting 101 by Brian Tracy. And then time management is going to be my next month. You know what I mean? I was sectioning it out as if it was a school. So I was in my bedroom treating sales like school. Cause I'm like, the ultimate person that wins at sales is, it's very hard to beat me at sales. And to beat anybody that's young, that studies it, and that's working it. It's a lethal weapon because you're a sponge.
Yes.
So like if you're a sponge at 17 reading sales and working it, that person turns into an animal. That's
right.
It's like crazy. When I see kids out there in the office and they're learning sales and they're 18, 19, 20, I'm like, you guys are soaking this. I'm like, you guys know how much harder it is for a 40-year-old that like to try to keep up what you're doing? That's why I'm like, when I like the building blocks that these kids have when they're learning sales that they say. I love when kids come up to me and they're like 17 and be like, man, I'm studying you. I'm like, oh shit. If you're studying me and working it at the same time, you're going to become a beast because you're a sponge.
1,000%.
You know? So what we think is our holdback and our limit as being young, I was telling them outside, is actually your fucking excuse to win.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because you're young and you can retain information quicker. And people wish they had, all people wish they had was energy, okay? And the speed of learning and the speed to, you know, acquire client and run out there. They wish they had what you had almost.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes it's crazy because it's the excuse for young people not to make money.
Yes. Now, this is so crazy. You said this in the podcast. Is we're going to our sales convention. We're all going to Hawaii next, 2 days?
Yeah.
2-3 days. You get on stage, you speak for a minute and 2 minutes. And he says in the podcast, he's like, I think for a medical device, was it for medical device?
Yeah, for
you
my
went through
job,
a convention, you spoke 2 minutes, you won your award, and then you saw someone just lighting up the crowd, spoke for an hour. And you went up to this gentleman, you said, what is it that you do? How'd you get in this position? And he's like, well, I do a coaching program. I make 15-something thousand doing that, and then I make 15,000 doing each of these. And it added up to, it was like 200, 300,000 because he was doing 2 a week or something. You were like, I want to get into that. Well, how did that all process evolve into you literally manifested that?
The thing was for me is that I always look to the left and right of me. So when you're in an environment, you're always looking at the top, right?
Yes.
I always compared myself to people at the top. I wasn't the best in my whole organization. There was people in that job for 40, 50 years, and I looked at them, and it just didn't excite me. So that same feeling was the same feeling when I was in school. I said, okay, this doesn't excite me. Like where my teacher said I'm going to be, I just looked at the end result, and I said that end result doesn't excite me. Didn't excite me, so school was boring then. Like if the end result doesn't excite you, it dictates your energy today.
Yes.
If your vision tomorrow doesn't excite you, it dictates your energy today.
1,000%.
You could see why people have low energy. If I were to go out there and people had low energy, I'll be like, you know why? Because their vision tomorrow of what even they're gonna make doesn't excite them.
Yes.
Like, of course I had low energy as a fucking kid because the money that they were telling me I'm gonna make at the highest professions did not excite me because my uncle had a Ferrari, and I said, these people that they're pitching us in school can't get that Ferrari. So that's not exciting. I want that.
Yes.
He was an entrepreneur. He was a business owner. He lived in a whole different city. I said, that's not exciting. That $300,000 thing that you're pitching me, you're saying you're going to become an engineer or a doctor. Then when I'm looking at these salaries, like 150 to 300, I'm like, that's not even exciting. So I got to do 20 years to get to that. That's not exciting. And you only have low energy because the money in the future doesn't excite you. Like if I said to somebody, okay, you got low energy, make the sound of what it's going to sound like when you hit your goal this month. And it's probably nothing because your goal's so low. But if your goal was like $1 million this month, you would freaking yell to shits if that was your goal at the end of the year, whatever the case was. So the energy that you have today is completely associated towards what your money goal is or your future goal is tomorrow. So the way it worked was I looked to the left and right of me and I said, this guy's fucking boring. This guy's dead. Sure, they're making a little bit of money. But I don't want to be these guys when I'm 60.
1,000%.
So I just said, I want to be that guy. I think that guy's cooler. It looks a lot more fun. And he's making money from it somehow, so I'm going to figure this thing out. And I'm not a dummy. Like, I'm not stupid. I didn't, just like you probably heard, I didn't retire my sales job. I made sure that the marketplace wanted me first. Some people are dummies. Like, I'm doing same thing you're doing, man. Like, I was just, okay, I'm going to go train high schools and colleges. And that's all I did. I went to go train high schools and colleges for free simultaneously while selling in my business. I was selling in my business and my medical work, and at the same time, I was training high school and colleges. And then I found, oh shit, people like this. They want it. These young kids want some sales training. They want to get inside of sales. And I started a sales course for free. And then when I started that sales course for free, I was still at my sales job. And I'm doing the sales course online. And that's when I started to come up with my agency because I started bringing people inside of the sales course. And then we had an influx of salespeople. And then I just had the ability to outsource these salespeople to other people that needed salespeople. Whatever company it was, a real estate company, an insurance company, a tech company. Matter. So that's how I started my agency. But I say you're never supposed to quit until the marketplace pays you for something.
That's when the demand is there.
Like they pay you for something. Like, no, are they actually willing to exchange money for what you have? Because some people think like the need is of you. Like, are they willing to pay you for it? That's the need, like to solve a problem.
1,000%. When the value exceeds the money they buy. 1,000%. Okay, so next thing I got in here is, I love that you said this because from day one, Rob, where have I said the deal is closed?
On the phones.
No, where in the process of the sale is the deal closed? In the fucking beginning. I turn the podcast on, I'm studying, I'm like, let me see, like, just vetting the legitimacy of like, all right. And he says, the deal is closed in the introduction. I was like, this is a real motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when you're vetting out the individuals that like know sales and master sales versus like just an amateur in sales, what are things you look for? Of like, all right, you're not really serious about sales, and you are a fucking master.
Yeah. First of all, it's how much more can they go off a concept than what they just read back in 1980s. I see a lot of people that will just take a book and then just respit out the book, and I can see a book in them. So it's impossible to fool me because I read the books. Like I read the books when I was 14. It is physically impossible to say that is you because I read them all when I was 14. So I'm like, oh, he's just saying what he said. Oh, he's saying what Grant said. Oh, he's saying what Zig Ziglar said. Oh, I see them now. That guy's just Grant.
Yeah.
He just has a little bit more energy than Grant, but that guy's Grant.
Yes.
Right? Oh, that guy's a Brian Tracy. That guy's a Zig Ziglar. That guy's a Jeffrey Gittimore. Right? So to me, I said the process of sales never changes. The way buyers buy changes today, right? And I'm also going to learn the processes and the concepts of it. I'm going to understand them so deeply that I'm going to have a different way of training it to make sense to other people in different industries, but I'm going to actually embody the concept. I'm going to understand it. I'm not going to know the concept word for word. I'm going to understand why people say it the way they say it. That's what got me to the next level inside of sales. Because when you understand, even inside of a sales job, why a script is written the way it's written, now you become a master at the script. Some people know the script word for word and they don't know why the script is written the way it's written. So I will stop and pause with people and be like, do you know why you said that opening line the way we said that opening line? They'll be like, what do you mean? I'm just like, see, you know it word for word. And you're never going to understand sales if you're just trying to understand it like this. You have to know why we're saying it like this. Like, why is that opening line? Why did we say the objection like that? There's somebody that just reads the objection. That's what I was trying to teach out there. And like somebody that understands the objection so they could say it in so many different formats. So like I get online and people will share me, like a fan or somebody that supports me will share me a video that is me, somebody else saying my shit. And I'm like, wow, like I'm flattered, man. I actually like it. Like I like when somebody's like, is inspired and says my content, that's great. But I'm like, man, the guy didn't get it. My idea was floating around with him. He didn't really feel it. It's not embodied inside of his heart.
Yes.
And he doesn't encompass the idea. And when the idea floats around you and it's not encompassed, that's when you become a weak communicator. That's where you can smell the difference between a good trainer and a bad trainer. A great trainer can encompass something. They could say 15 stories around that one concept because they fucking felt it.
Yeah.
1,000%. Another weak trainer is just saying the script like the salesperson says the script.
Yes.
Right? So you could see who's been in it and you could see who still does it till today. So I think anybody that's a great sales trainer is doing it right now, they're trading right now, and they're selling in today's marketplace. They're active in today's marketplace. They're talking to their prospect. What makes you at the top of your game? It's called listening to your customers. That's what makes you at the top, listening to people. Like, if you ever want to beat competition or you want to be great inside of a sales job, you got to listen to what your customers are telling you. Because your marketplace is always changing. Your customers are going to tell you different things.
Yes.
That's how you become great. So how do you become a great trainer? You listen to people. You listen to what your audience says. It's the people that are on live stream, selling on a live stream, seeing how people, it's the people that are in an Instagram DM and seeing how people are reacting to people inside of an Instagram DM. You can't teach social media sales if you're not on freaking social media. You know what I mean? Like you can't teach how to sell somebody right now if you're not selling people right now.
1,000%.
I'm on a freaking live stream every single day selling something on a live stream. And then going back inside of the DM and seeing how it's going to take to close out a deal and book, okay, what language does TikTok brain buyer need in order to get them into a booked meeting now? Because now everybody's trying to sell somebody through a DM. So what are the words that I got to tell this person in order to get them to a booked meeting? Because what worked 4 years ago doesn't even work in today's day and age sometimes with people. People buy differently. It's such a fast-paced environment right now. It's crazy.
Insanely fast-paced.
Yeah.
And I feel like artificial intelligence is going to put some pressure on a lot of industries, but not sales. I love dealing with human beings.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm like, at the airports now, there's a lot of like little self-checkouts. I don't know if it's international.
Yeah,
but
you hate it. I hate it too.
Dude, this is wasting more time. You know what I mean? Like, just pay a
You say
human
the same
being.
thing.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I say
know?
the same shit. I always say, I'm like, dude, so like, why didn't you just scan this for me? Like you're coming to help me out. Because like I'm already mad, so I don't even want to learn this thing out, right?
Yeah, dude.
But hey, listen, I think people are still going to be around selling. I just think the only thing AI is going to do is help with the systems be faster.
Yeah,
of course. It's going to help our data.
And I also kind of hate the technology because it'll give. Here's where people I feel like will lose in sales too is the procrastinators. They'll get into sales because it sounds cool and they like Instagram and they like to be Instapreneurs. Put that shit on there like, oh, I'm getting into sales. And then it's like the technology will provide them a way of like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just working on my CRM. Like, why don't you just work on presentations? Why don't you just work on getting the product in front of
people? It's a circus. Yeah, they get involved in the circus. I call it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I liked this. Dude, I don't know if you remember this. I wanted to plug this in here. Bradley had said Bob's mom has 3 kids. He pulled out a nickel, a dime, and a quarter. And the nickel, Yeah, the Nicholas.
Oh yeah, and he said you weren't listening or whatever. Yeah. Because he was talking about people seeking to understand and start
1,000%.
listening or whatever the case was. Yeah, I remember
1,000%.
that. That's literally what I was telling them.
Literally
over
what
there.
you were talking about.
I was telling them out there. I'm like, some
Yes.
people just reply. And by the way, like I wasn't ever on branding your podcast, so these are new to me.
Yeah.
So you're thinking like, yo, what's this motherfucker gonna ask me or whatever, right?
Yes.
But it's funny. Listen, dude. You know, when I got into the game, I was like a threat to people.
Yeah.
And they didn't like me. There's
Yeah.
so many stories, man. Like, there's so many stories where people wouldn't even broadcast.
Can't even imagine.
Like, things that I've been on.
Yeah.
They said, if that guy's speaking on stage, I'm not speaking on stage. There was a point in 2018 where it was bad, where somebody I even represented, right, as an agency, I used to sell other people's products. So, Tristan, you got this shaker. Okay, I have sales guys that can sell it. He didn't deliver on something. But it wasn't us. We sold the product. We were the agency, right? Like I'm an independent contractor to the company, right?
Yeah.
And they also brought me into it and they destroyed me in 2018. And everybody that you know online, that you could think of their names, that were big even like 5 years ago, all turned their back on us, right? So I'm like, wow, this wasn't even me. And so first thing I do is when you're going through a brand hit, right? This was 2018. I called my lawyer first. I said, am I okay? He's like, yeah, dude, you're good. I'm like, okay, fuck. That's the first thing I just needed to know. You know, I'm like, okay, first, am I okay?
Yeah.
Because when you're caught in this circus, you're going to bed tripping out, right? You're in a phase, right? Because you're like, it's always, whatever's happened out there is always worse than what you think is happening, right? You know, like when you're going through a lawsuit, you think it's always worse, whatever. So first I said, legally, am I okay with this? He's like, yeah, let me see it. Okay, you're good. I said, okay, now let me see how people act. And it was bad. Like people were going on live streams. Twitter was big at the time. This was about 5-6 years ago because we used to sell other people's online courses. And these sometimes people don't deliver on their courses, blah, 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 right? So whatever happened with this individual, I got tied into the mix because I was close to this individual.
Yeah.
And they just ripped me left, right, and center. Every name that you can think of. People that I used to respect, I used to share stages with a while back. This was, the real story is this, dude. In 2017, 2018, 2019, I started getting my first lick at the game, started sharing stages with people. I wasn't big on social media, but there was a lot of stages happening and they just started putting me on. This is the sales guy, he's great, blah, blah. I wasn't sharing on social media, but I was going on these stages like twice a week, all in America, different types of stages, entrepreneur stages, etc. Then boom, the industry turns on me. Like it was like where one guy said, this guy's done, okay? So I looked at this shit and not two individuals called me. Till today, they're the same individuals that speak on my stage, right? 2 individuals called me and said, yo, D, is this true? I said, wow, you guys are men, huh? Like you guys actually picked up the phone. I'm just watching how other people deal with this situation. And that was my motivator in 2019 January, where I said, I'm gonna tear these motherfuckers apart and I'm gonna do this my way. Meaning, I don't need your stages. I'm gonna build my own. And I'm gonna get so fucking good that one day you're gonna come around and be like, can I speak on your stage? That was my motivator, man. That when I seen that happening, they were saying like some rude, disgusting things, like family remarks, like some disgusting shit. It fired me up so much, dude, that's like, you need a little bit of a chip on your shoulder to build, right?
1,000%.
And I thank God that happened because I needed that chip on my shoulder to say, I'm gonna eat them all up. And when I mean that, like I meant it, like I'm gonna tear them up to where I'm at a point where it's like, it's untouchable. Now there's only 1 or 2 of us now at the top, it's untouchable. Like I don't even need anybody else in my space.
Yes.
I'll go anywhere, anytime and have a connection in the city and we can run an event and do anything. So that was my motivator to go from 1 person in Las Vegas. I'll build that to 3 people. I'll build that to 5 people. I will never depend on somebody else to give me a stage ever again inside of my life. I'll build my own brand in my own community. And I built the strongest sales community, like a very strong sales community, not just here nationally, but like internationally. And I worked my ass off for that. That was my chip on my shoulder because I'm like, I'm never gonna depend on somebody else. I don't want a handout inside a business. I don't ever wanted somebody to say like, hey bro, you come on my stage. You know?
Yeah.
I want to vet you to come on mine.
Yes.
So that's really what motivated me. I seen a different side of individuals on the back end. And you know what? It was disappointing, dude. It was very disappointing. It was disappointing for me because I actually admired and respected these people. And then when you met them, they weren't who they deemed to be. And I said, I'm never going to be these motherfuckers. Like I want to help the kids. I want to help the youth. I don't want to smash on. Dude, I was 24 and they were like just drilling us. And I was 24. I said, wow, man, like you're a 40-year-old guy. You
Yep.
know, I said I'm never
Yes.
gonna be like these people. I'm in it for the people. Like some people don't know this. Like I literally when you're like come here, I'm like yes, let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
There's no money, dude. I go negative. I
Yeah,
go
I was
negative.
gonna say you're not. There's
Yeah.
not a massive profit. There's no profit on this. You're
No,
losing money on this.
Like I really am. Like I stay. I'll talk to people,
Yes.
etc. Because I'm like, hey, listen. There wasn't maybe a Daniel G when Daniel G was growing up.
Yeah.
For me, you know,
Yes.
and a lot of my mentors actually sold out too as well. So like, you know. A lot of my mentors that I used to look up to, they went to go off to do some other shit.
Yeah.
Some of them, they went to go off to do some shady shit. And I said, you know what? The person that wins this business is going to stay in business. So I stayed in sales training.
Yeah.
There were so many opportunities for me to venture off, go partner up with a company, go make millions of dollars here, go do that. I said, no, I'm going to stay with it because if not, it's like an insult to the people that need me in the next 5 years.
1000%,
Right?
dude.
So I just stayed sales training. As boring as sometimes like it can seem to be, because it's the same shit over
yeah.
and over and over. And there's other opportunities that can make millions and millions of dollars. I'm just gonna stay with it. I'm gonna be the person that I've never had growing up.
1000%, dude. Hitting the soul, the PR, all of that. I think just probably a year ago, experiencing some of that. You know, and just ourselves in the overall insurance industry gets already a hard type of take from individuals, but starting to get some like traction on my own social media. I swear to God, I wake up with like at least probably a fraction of the hate that you might get.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, it's like 80% hate, and I didn't realize like I don't have no issue with hate. It's motivating, inspiring, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of narcissistic, so I like it a little bit. So like,
You're getting attention.
you know what I mean? Yeah, just like because if you're not getting any attention, what are you doing?
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean. But
like
I
your
love
only
it.
videos that will get hate are the ones that are getting views.
Yes.
It's crazy the way it works. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, that video picked up.
Yes.
Watch it get hate. Watch it get hate because the hate doesn't come from your brand. People that are in the community, it comes from people that are out of the community.
Yes.
So it never comes from people that are in the community. Let's say, for example, I put a video on TikTok, it'll get much more hate than a video that's on on Instagram. Why? Because TikTok's a virality platform, and those people are not part of your community.
Yeah.
So you're gonna start seeing people like on a YouTube short or a TikTok just go fucking crazy, or if
Yeah.
a reel goes viral on Instagram, the hate's gonna go crazy. The love's gonna be there, but the hate's gonna go crazy.
Yes.
But just same thing with me, man. I think like for me, the only time a hater will ever win is when you stop fucking posting.
Yeah.
That's like when they win. That's when
Yes.
they got you. Like
Yes.
like when people are like, man, I'm experiencing hate. I'm like, well, they probably want you to quit your job.
Yeah.
Like if you're a salesperson, some people are hating on you because you work inside of a network marketing company. You work whatever it is that you do, and they start talking shit about it. The only time a fucking haters win is when you stop selling, you stop posting, you stop leading, you stop doing whatever.
Sounds-
It's like, fuck, I got this guy.
Yeah.
That's what I say. So it's almost like a battle.
Yeah.
Okay, you hate on me, I'm gonna show up tomorrow and do it again.
Yes.
It's like, fuck, man. Like there's people that hate on you and don't post and don't comment, right?
Yeah.
There's people that hate on you silently, people at the top, whatever. And I'm like, man, it must suck. Like I generally go to bed. The biggest thing that I can ever laugh about is just with myself.
Yeah.
Like I go to bed and it's actually, I go like this. Like I'll just laugh and my guys will hear it sometimes, which is the same hotel room. I'll be like, and they'll be like, this guy's crazy.
Yeah.
I'll be like, man, it must suck hating on me.
Dude.
No, like it
Yeah.
actually genuinely fucking sucks. I watch myself and I'm like,
Yes.
I'm a fucking machine.
Yes.
I'm a
Yes.
machine. And if you fucking hate on me,
Yeah.
if anybody in the industry says this thing about this fucking Daniel G guy, and then you go on my social media and you see me on a fucking airplane, 30,000 feet up, touchdown, and I'm in fucking India, 5,000 people, Colombia, 3,000 people, Peru, 2,000 people, fucking Chicago tomorrow morning, 2,000 people, it must fucking suck. Like that must suck. You telling your friends about me and then your friends go on my fucking Instagram and it's fucking great.
Yeah.
And then they fucking see a link in my bio and then they buy my shit.
Yeah.
You're a fucking idiot. You just gave me a free customer.
Thank you.
That's what I say.
Yeah, bro.
Like
I love it.
that you almost want to like
Speaking
make
to
it
the choir, bro.
Yeah, you just want to make it like fun for your haters, being like, "Fuck, this must suck."
I love it.
You know, it's a game. It's a
Yes.
game. At the end of the day, you don't get emotional. It's a game.
I love it, man.
Soccer teams need hate.
What are you dreaming about? I know you said the jet. I think we all like that's like fucking the goal, the dream. But like what outside
The jet
of
is
that?
not a dream, by the way.
That's not a dream.
No, not anymore. It used to be a dream. The jet is more just a convenience thing. I'll be
Yes.
honest with you. Like I
Yes.
don't even give a fuck. Like at this point, the jet's not for like, oh man, I want to take my friends on a jet. It's gonna be cool to drive a jet. I know it's just another fucking airplane that's a lot more uncomfortable. People think it's a lot more comfortable. Go fly private. Yeah, the couch is comfortable, but man, the smaller the plane, sometimes there's a lot more turbulence. It's actually like it's probably a lot more unsafe, a private jet.
Yeah.
Like like it's dude, when you're in a big plane, it feels
Yeah.
a lot more smooth than turbulence on a private jet. So it's nothing about that. Okay, sure, you can kick back up your legs. It's great. To me, it's just the fucking convenience.
Yeah.
It's just the in and out, right? That's why I want one. Like
Yeah.
we need to fly private because just the inconvenience of time.
Yeah.
I think a jet is actually going to make complete financial sense for me from a business standpoint.
Then what are you dreaming about right now?
Yeah, I think, whatever I'm doing right now, I'll tell you that I'm living my dream. So it's just to take what we're doing right now and just keep blowing it up.
Yeah.
And I see it bigger and bigger and bigger. I don't want to change the route of direction. So in terms of my business, whatever I have right now is just to keep growing it, just to keep growing what we got growing right now. I don't get distracted. I want to change the course of my business. And then, it's a lot, as you impact more people, you build closer connections with people. So you just want to make those people a lot more successful,
1,000%.
right? So I want to take my family to another level still. It's always your family, leveling up your family. If you leveled up your immediate family, maybe you want to level up your secondary family, and just taking people around me to a whole nother level too as well. I'm good for work. It's funny because when you get into business, it's not even about you anymore. Because if it was, I would just never do this, and I would just sit down on a laptop, chill out, do some work, whatever. So it literally is people around me.
Yeah.
As crazy as the people around you sometimes don't know that. But it really is. It's just people around me, just really, really helping them.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Well, I think the last thing I like to ask, and you don't seem like the type of person to sit and watch a movie, but do you have a favorite movie?
I have a favorite movie. Probably Goodfellas, Scarface, any good mafia
You look
movie.
like a young Tony Montana.
Yeah, dude. Any good mafia movie.
Scarface. I got Scarface tatted right here. That's my go-to.
Any great mafia movie, man. I was always inspired
that.
by mafia movies.
Yeah,
I think they're fucking geniuses. Like some
Dude,
mafias.
I feel like that blueprint right there is better for you than
man,
if you
there's
substitute the
business lessons
products.
in there.
Yeah, if you substitute some of the products.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly,
Ethically.
exactly. Yeah,
It's the best. You just watch a mafia movie instead of going to
the
college.
reason
or anything
why
like that.
it's like, so if people are asking that why, because I know a lot of people say it's a great business plan, the operations of how a mob works, like you got your guy at the top, and then you got, let's say, a bunch of soldiers in the field, sales reps.
Yeah.
And then you got your leaders, your starting five lineup, let's just
Yeah.
say, for example. It's like your basketball team.
underbosses.
Yeah, the underbosses, right?
Yeah.
And it's those people can never fuck around. Those people have to be the most tight, solid people
Loyal
that
character.
live and
Yes.
die with the deepest characteristics, right?
Yes.
So it's like the soldiers, you could kick them out, whatever,
Yeah.
but those people can never fuck around. So
Yeah.
it's like it shows you in business who has to be the closest people around you, right?
Yes.
And they also got to know that they're standing beside a giant. Like some people, man, they get so close to you that they don't know they're standing beside the giant.
Yes.
That's the biggest problem.
Yes.
You let people in and they're around you for a week or a month, and you say, motherfucker, wake up, you're standing beside a giant, don't abuse it, right?
Yes.
So I think those people that are part of that know that they're around the giant and how powerful they are, and then watch how other people respect them, etc.
Yeah.
Right? And they don't got to be reminded that they're sitting beside a giant. They just know.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, yeah, I think, Goodfellas.
Let's go. Love it. Well, this was another episode of Adversity Kings. Make sure you guys go follow Daniel G. Is there anything you wanted to shout out? Anything?
No, man, no, I just appreciate
What are
you
you
guys
doing,
having me.
crackhead?
Yeah, I was telling him he had water.
When we're wrapping up the podcast. that's my crackhead boy right there.
The water, I was like, it's
Water.
everything good?
There's a water.